Did you know? The famous comic book character Spider-Man has been portrayed and voiced by a number of Hollywood celebrities. Good old Tobey Maguire stepped in to play the web-slinger for all 3 video game adaptations of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy films. Drake Bell currently voices him in the Ultimate Spider-Man series and the other Marvel animated shows airing alongside it, not to mention the Marvel Heroes video game. And even Neil Patrick Harris played him in the 2003 show Spider-Man the New Animated Series, and returned to play him in the game Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions.
Craven, that maniac. Where is he taking me this time? What horrible death trap will I have to overcome? Hey, this is a pretty nice view, actually.
But let's not forget about the countless number of voice actors that have had a shot at playing Spidey, as there have been quite a few since the 60s in his very first animated series, well over 20 different actors in fact. The Shattered Dimension game mentioned a bit ago featured Neil Patrick Harris as specifically the Amazing Spider-Man, but this game in fact starred 4 different incarnations of Spidey, all played by different actors that had previously gotten to portray him in other animated series as well. Rewinding back much further, Dan Gilvezan voiced Spider-Man in the 80s Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends series. You know, the one that had Iceman and Firestar in it, that one.
How Santa Claus does this and keeps his suit clean, I'll never know.
He would also go on a decade later to do another Marvel character, Warlord Morat, in the 90s Fantastic Four series, and then another 15 years later voiced the badass Spider-Man 2099 in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions.
What are you supposed to be? A demonic kumquat?
Newsflash, Hobby. You're not my first goblin.
Christopher Daniel Barnes, who for many years was known as the voice of Prince Eric from Disney's The Little Mermaid, and even eventually Prince Charming in some of the Cinderella sequels, was Spidey in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
I have, because I've learned time and time again that with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
And in that same series, got to voice some alternate versions of Spidey, the Scarlet Spider and Spider Carnage during that series. Then, 15 years later, he got to voice Noir Spider-Man in Shattered Dimensions.
Call him Vulture. Call him whatever you want. I'll always call him the bastard who killed my uncle. And not just killed him.
Then fought against Spidey while portraying longtime villain Electro in the Ultimate Spider-Man series. And between playing the 3 versions of Spidey in the 90s cartoon, Noir Spidey and Shattered Dimensions, took over for Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Man Edge of Time a year later, and then also got to play Symbiote Spider-Man and Superior Spider-Man in the Marvel Heroes game another couple years later, Christopher Daniel Barnes has played the most amount of different incarnations of Spider-Man, Peter Parker or not, over the course of the last 25 years. Last but certainly not least for the quartet of Spidey seen in Shattered Dimensions, Ultimate Spider-Man was played by Joshua Keaton, another voice behind a former Disney heartthrob, in the form of young Hercules. Josh voiced Peter Parker in the much-loved Spectacular Spider-Man series from 2008.
I never asked to be Spider-Man. I never asked for these powers. I never knew it would mean a bashed-up hand, a hard 9 p.m. curfew, no job, and friends who all think I'm scum.
Prior to this, he got to fight against the Tobey Maguire Spidey in the earlier mentioned movie tie-in games as Harry Osborn, voice matching for James Franco.
Still palling around with that murdering bug? He did kill my dad. Someday I'll get him for it, too. Tell him that next time you see him.
In addition to the Spectacular series, Josh carried over as Spidey for a number of years on stuff like the Marvel Superhero Squad games, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, took over for regular Spider-Man on the Edge of Time game, and is currently tied for Drake Bell as one of the longest-running actors to play the characters in succession for many years. Speaking of which, a little controversy arose on an episode of the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes series. Josh Keaton had recorded Spidey on his first appearance on the show in early 2010. Then, a couple years later, when the episodes eventually aired, Spidey's dialogue was re-recorded by Drake Bell. Josh re-auditioned for Ultimate Spider-Man in 2011, but did not get to reprise as Peter Parker. So most likely to keep in line with the most recent Spidey, which was Drake Bell, the people in charge of Earth's Mightiest Heroes may have decided to switch this out in order to keep consistency. However, this news upset quite a few fans, as it also caused some mix-up with the continuity of the show's world, since Ultimate Spider-Man established a new canon for the animated shows, in tandem with Avengers Assemble and Hulk and the Agents of Smash. Still though, Josh Keaton remains a big fan favorite to Spider-Man fans. He even recorded a video of himself reciting some Spider memes.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, he just opened a tuna can. What? I'm out of work.
Little side note about the Spectacular Spider-Man, playing opposite to Josh were 2 actors that had previously voiced Spidey himself. Ben Diskin as Eddie Brock played Peter Parker in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, taking over for Quinton Flynn a few years before.
You're kidding, right? Do you have any idea how little arch support I get in this outfit?
Hey, Gwen. Work here. I'm the Connor's personal lab assistant. Not bad for a frosh, huh?
Then, James Arnold Taylor, as Harry Osborn, had previously done Peter Parker on a couple video games and even got to return to the role after Spectacular Spider-Man's end in Avengers Battle for Earth and Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Thousands of miles from home, and who do I bump into? But my favorite metal-armed maniac.
You didn't even want to try out. This was my dream, Pete.
Some other notable actors to take on the role were Patrick Chilvers, who played Spidey in the Capcom fighting games featuring Marvel characters in the late 90s.
Come on, showtime! Maximum Spider! Spider sense is tingling. One for JJ.
There was also Rena Romano, who played Spidey in the 1999 series Spider-Man Unlimited, recorded in Canada. Then, after moving to California, Reno got to reprise Spidey on a number of video games recorded there.
Venom and Carnage. Looks like Jameson's gonna have a couple of stowaways. Unless they get their tickets punched by their friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Most recently with the release of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. As you'd expect, a video game tie-in was released, but did not feature any of the film actors reprising their roles. Sam Riegel stepped in to voice Spidey in place of Andrew Garfield.
Hey, come back! I'm pretty sure he's talking to you! Right? This is not good!
Likewise, Emma Stone did not return to play Gwen Stacy in this game and was instead voice matched by Kari Wahlgren. What's funny about this is that Kari also voice matched Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson on the tie-in game based on Spider-Man 3. So 2 times, Kari Wahlgren voiced a live-action Spider-Man's love interest in video game form.
Sorry, Peter. I just can't be with you right now. Good night.
This is crazy. The lizard almost destroyed the city. What rational mind would continue to create these things?
Some last couple interesting ones. Sean Marquette, Mac from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, played Spidey in the Ultimate Spider-Man video game. Yuri Lowenthal, voice of Ben 10, played a couple versions of Spider-Man in the Marvel Superhero Squad online game. And one of the most surprising of all, in the Marvel Superheroes 4D ride at Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, featuring a slew of Avengers characters voiced by the respective actors from the Earth's Mightiest Heroes series. Spider-Man in this ride was played by Tom Kenny, better known as the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants.
So tell me, did the big horns get you better cell phone reception? Or did your face just lose a fight with an antelope?
Thanks for watching. This video was inspired by Did You Know Gaming, so go check out their channel and watch all their videos about gaming trivia. Special thanks to Omahdon for the audio mastering, The Legend of Renegade for the music, BehindTheVoiceActors.com for all the audio samples, and Motley Fool for all the insightful comic book info. If you like this video, go check out some of her other ones. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because we'll be back next week with Did You Know Voice Acting Marvel Part 3. See you then!